Well, folks, here we are back on kind of the home turf here. Mississippi River, Clarksville, Missouri. Fishing amongst the best fishermen in the world, the bald eagles and the pelicans. We're going to be catching some saugers and walleyes today. Hey, stay with us, folks. We're going to catch some fish that we're going to eat. So we'll be right back right after this with more Outdoors in Heartland.
Every chance I get, there's a place I go where the bass are biting as the sun hangs low. There's a feeling I get that I hope will never end. On a deep, clear lake or an Ozark stream, I kick back, relax, and I start to dream about what Mother Nature has waiting around the bend. Hey, Larry and Bob will take me there today. My gear's packed up and I just can't wait to get out on my way. Outdoors in the heartland is like coming home to an old friend. That city life is not for me. There's fun as far as I can see. The great outdoors is where I want to be. Outdoors in the heartland.
Your Quality Ford dealers present Outdoors in the Heartland with Bob Richardson and Larry Woodward. This segment of Outdoors in the Heartland is brought to you by Ford and your Quality Ford dealers. Strike King, #1 in fishing lures. Browning, the best there is. Lowrance, we lead, we find, you win. And Triton Boats, we take America fishing.
Okay, what we're doing here is fishing a 1 ounce jig. Got a Strike King curly tail, rage tail grub on there, and a big shiner. We're just vertical jigging. Just caught a fish in 45 foot of water. So I'm kind of looking around trying to make sure I can get back on that spot. You got to come in contact with the bottom. I touch the bottom, pick her up about 6-8 inches, slowly let her back down, tap the bottom, pick it up. Most of the time you don't feel just a big banging bite. It's just you raise up and there's weight. Whenever it feels different than it did the last time you put it down there, that's probably going to be your fish. We're fishing, 40, 50 feet deep. And you need a sensitive rod. And I'm using braided line because there's hardly any stretch in it. It really helps. This fishing is typically good in the winter. We had to hire a guy with a backhoe to open up the ramp this morning.
One day when you see Larry and I fish over the last, 17, 18 years together, it's not that I'm a control freak, but, I like to run the boat, and I'm just kind of used to running the boat the way I do. But, I've learned a long time ago, if somebody knows more about what they're doing than you do, let them be in control. I think it's like anything else. There's experts in everything we do, and Larry I consider an expert on catching in this Mississippi River chain, walleye and sauger. The first thing I seen him do when he caught that fish, as he set the hook, he looked up and he found the marker over here and he found which gate he was behind and he coordinated exactly where, and he looked at the depth finder to see the depth. And I think that's where a lot of guys just get out here and float around and think they're just gonna luck into it. It's like anything else. You gotta work at it. Oh, Larry's got one on.
It's the right kind.
Huh?
It's the right kind.
There you go. There you go. That's a good one.
You're allowed to have 8 of those, believe it or not. No size limit, but 8 of those. And that, again, that's a sauger, but that's some of the best eaten in the world right there.
Check out oith.com or go to facebook.com/outdoors
Outdoors in the Heartland. Every week there's going to be prizes, giveaways, and contests.
This segment of Outdoors in the Heartland is brought to you by Ford and your quality Ford dealers, and Triton Boats. We take America fishing.
Well, I'm going to try and bust up through a bunch of icebergs here. I want to be in between 40 and 50 foot of water, and that's up here further in this hole. So typically you'll find your saugers will be in the deepest hole, and then when you're coming out the back and start coming up, you'll catch walleyes. Over the years, the walleye population's been a lot better. It's been dwindling in recent years, and nobody seems to know why, but I got a really strong opinion that it's all due to the Asian carp invasion, which I think is making all of our game fish species go down in numbers. That deepest water.
You got one on?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a walleye. That's a little walleye. 57 foot deep. And he bit the main hook, so he was after it. 50 foot of water. Ah. Catfish fritter.
It's a twirler. A spoonbill.
Ah. Oh, look that over real good.
That is about the coolest fish you'll ever want to catch.
That is cool. Hey, we got to get cell phone pictures of that.
I don't know how you really take pictures of holding them, but look at the mouth that's on that guy. And that's basically what they call a spoonbill catfish. And they
really not a
literally get up
catfish.
to hundreds of pounds in certain rivers and tributaries.
There's one. Little one, but 55 foot. Unfreaking believable. That we had a spawn at one time, probably last year or two, but this is we've caught 6 or 7 this size, all same year class, and I just love that.
I got one.
Bigger, ain't it?
I don't think so. Bigger than yours? Probably not. It got a little bit more of a head shaking, but back in 57 foot, you know, it's so key to have good electronics. Another walleye. A little better than the other one, but I don't think it ain't much.
Holy cow, that is fantastic.
Another little walleye. Good deal. Look at the depth finder. You can actually see where we're marking fish, but this is a hole that Larry's fished for years, and it's between 50 and 60 foot deep. And we've gone all around here and thought maybe they'd be up on these ridges or in this tighter water, but they seem to be like a lot of these other fish. They've just moved into this big hole. Little guy, little guy.
No net?
No.
You know we want to eat, right?
Come on, little guy, little guy.
Another walleye. Now that is impressive.
The future.
That is so good to see. They're not only not little saugers, but they're walleyes.
This segment of Outdoors in the Heartland is brought to you by Ford and your quality Ford dealers, and Strike King, #1 in fishing lures.
53.9, there he is. You ain't gonna believe that. Caught in the mouth. And that's another baby walleye. The only thing I can say good about that is there has been some spawning activity in the last couple of years. This is probably a year or two old fish. But that's really, really good to see. I'm excited to see them little walleyes like that.
You have a bite?
Huh?
You have a bite?
I just caught one.
Oh.
Another little walleye. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, I just felt one right there. There he is. It's gonna be another little walleye, I can already tell it. I tell you, I only caught a couple saugers and they've been big ones, and always this is all the same year class of some kind. Okay. Now if I can get the cameraman bait boy, get me a bait. Feels like the same thing. Walleye again.
Need a net?
No.
Is that a yes or no?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. Getting heavier.
A catfish.
Oh.
Whiskers. Now, one thing about the river, it can be quite the smorgasbord.
If I'm gonna clean two saugers, I might as well clean this thing too.
But you know, catching walleye and sauger here, they just don't happen to be here. And this process, as you might tell the folks, starts actually back in the fall.
Yeah, this kind of becomes a dependable fishery, starting, depending on water temperatures, once it gets below 60 degrees in the fall. And the sauger walleyes, they make a pre-spawn movement and they want to move upstream. They just happen to be in this river and these dams end up congregating them here. And then the natural thing for fish to do when they're lethargic in the winter is gather up in the deepest water. So you get some of those kind of holes right here below them dams. So then you get, like, when you look at the screen, it's just, you know, fogged up with fish and all suspended in different depths in that water column. And, you know, there's shad and carp and spoonbill and catfish. Everything is in there. Fall through winter, you're going to get these kind of fish congregated below dams and other things that stop them. If it's in a smaller stream, you know, it could be riffles or something like that. But they're in a pre-spawn upstream motion that's putting them here. And you can typically catch them when you got good water. You need low flow like you see here, which you typically get in the winter when the river from here north is froze.
Outdoors in the Heartland has been brought to you by Ford and your St. Louis Ford dealers. Strike King, #1 in fishing lures. Triton Boats, we take America fishing. And Gilbreth's Taxidermy, the official taxidermist of Outdoors in the Heartland.
Typically in the deepest holes in this river is where you'll catch a lot of small sauger, some walleyes mixed in, but today it's been all small walleyes. It just tells me that there was a spawning season at some point there. You know, last time we fished here, Bob caught about a 6-pound walleye. In my lifetime, not living far from here fishing here, I've seen a 10-2.
Some people have problems differentiating between walleye and saugers. It's not that hard. Saugers are typically smaller, they have a brownish gray mottled appearance, and their dorsal fin has spots throughout. The walleye has a greener color which varies from different waters. The dorsal fin is typically clear with a black spot at the base of the dorsal fin, and the lower fork of the tail fin is white. In Missouri and Illinois, regulations vary, but in the Mississippi River, the limit is 8 with no length restrictions, with both species recognized as one. But in Missouri, fishing for walleyes in reservoirs, this is very different, so make sure you know your regulations where you fish.
And this would be a better fish.
That's what you think.
It sure felt, but he was snagged under the head. Still, I don't know how many walleyes that are exactly like this today we've caught, but that's great.
It ain't no walleye, I don't think. I don't think this is a walleye. If it is, it's a good one. I think we both got it.
I'm gonna give it
It's
slack.
like a song, I Got You, Babe. It's like, what in the world have we got?
Blue cat. Oh, swingy man.
Need a bigger net.
Well, there's as much meat on that as about 15 saugers, so that'll
You
work.
know, that's one thing about coming to the mighty Mississippi. You don't know at any given time what's going to stretch your string. And that has got some pretty good fillets on it. Well, I caught a spoonbill cat and I've caught a blue cat. Larry caught a channel cat. And I think that we come out here to walleye fish. Well, as you've seen today, some fiberglass bass boats become multi-species boats. Catfish, walleye, sauger, spoonbill. Well, for 2014, I am being proud to announce that Triton has added to their aluminum line a new Triton crappie boat in a 17-foot 8 series and an 18-foot 8 series, both 92 inches wide, which is a lot of beam. This way allows a crappie fisherman to set 2 guys side by side on the front. You got live wells in the front, you got bait coolers in the front, you've got storage boxes in the front. It's got rod boxes with tubes that will take up to 8.5-foot rods, but you also still have the amenities of a rear live well like most bass boats. You know, Triton's been building boats for a long time, but with the reintroduction of the aluminum line, they are hot sellers. They're multi-species boats. Hey, and for the guy that has trouble getting where he wants to be to fish, whether it's no roads, gravel roads, or dirt roads, Triton has got you covered with the new gator hide paint system that they have. It's an armor coating built right in and painted on every trailer. And for the guys that said, well, I can't get it in my garage, well, we've got that figured out too. The new swing away tongue and dolly jack makes it a lot easier to back in, swing it away, and maneuver it to fit your garage. You know, there are just some features that makes the boat look a lot nicer, and that's what they've done with the new design on the Triton aluminum bass boats and crappie boats. Look at the stylish design of the new fiberglass console. With the gauges, the switches, the lighted pads, and the depth finder, well, it just don't get any better. There's a lot to say and a lot more to see at one of your Triton boat dealers, so stop by and tell them that Bob and Larry sent you. Another little one. Well, it just growed.
Net? Yes, no?
Yeah.
A bigger spoonie.
They're getting bigger.
No, you got a catfish and a spoonbill. You got a channel cat and now tell me there ain't fish stacked up down there.
This is what they call a twofer. What?
Here, that's a better
That's almost
that's a better picture than the other
like
one was.
prehistoric looking. Look at the mouth on that. Holy smoke.
This was a winter smorgasbord here today.
You know, these are actually a delicacy.
Oh, hold him right
they
there.
actually catch these things in the river and milk them for the eggs out of them for caviar. And there's one. And that may be one of the smaller catfish I've ever caught. I just hooked another one, reeling it in.
Is it a fish?
I don't even know if it's a fish. Oh, holy cow, I have no idea what I got. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that.
Yeah, hey, just thumb him some line. Don't break him off.
Look at that.
Don't break him off.
Look at that.
There's nothing he can wrap you up on. No, another blue.
It's...
Oh.
They're getting bigger. Oh, holy smoke. That's a two-hander. Well, partner, I'd say we've had a pretty good day on the mighty Mississippi River. For those that aren't real familiar about all the catfish species, this fish may look awful white, but it's what they call a blue cat. And they're an incredible, especially this size, an incredibly good eating fish. Out of this cold water. Whew.
We come out here.
This is my first time in the boat since I've had my back surgery.
Yeah.
And I think last time you might have seen Larry catching the blue cat, they was actually a little bit bigger than this, but this could be over my 10-pound weight restriction on my back.
It very well might be. You know, we come out to catch walleyes and saugers today. Plus, I wanted to get some cold water fish to eat. Well, we've got a couple keeper saugers and 2 big blues. Not giant for blue cats, but these are perfect eating sized catfish, and guarantee you they're going to the grease.
And for my partner, Larry Woodward, I've had a pretty good day. I'm Bob Richardson. We're going to see you somewhere next week, right here, outdoors in the Heartland.
Man, that's going to be good.